Hi everyone, I'm Dr. Cheryl Carthouse, naturopathic doctor, and I'm going to go over the part 3 of 3 video on revolutionizing home and clinical practices using antimicrobial essential oils for antimicrobial activities as well as immune support. So this one we're going to go over the home applications and actually clinical applications as well, or at least some of my ideas, and some of the considerations, particularly safety, and then around how oils are produced and the considerations that we want to have, especially when using essential oils. So one of the reasons I love using essential oils, particularly in my home, is because they can do multiple things. So when you can do both sanitizing and increase your mood and decrease stress, and then subsequently have a much more positive affect. It can actually even change your social behavior. If we're in a good mood, we're going to act slightly differently than if we're in a bad mood. All of those things can actually be affected by essential oils. So if I'm going to go around and wipe a counter off, I'll use a spray that has some antimicrobial essential oils in it, some alcohol, different things to help provide that antimicrobial effect on the surface. And then at the same time, I'm also getting the benefit and the therapeutic effects of having that increased mood. Some of my favorites are bergamot and orange. I might include lavender as well, and sometimes thyme. There's a couple different brands that use a proprietary combination, but it might include cloves and orange and cinnamon and thyme oils, lemon as well, or orange, one of the citrus ones. So those ones are beautiful and I absolutely love them. They have had also other microbial research done on them. And again, the ones that we mentioned in the previous video were things like eucalyptus, thyme, tea tree, orange, bergamot, peppermint, sage, helichrysum, and cinnamon. Helichrysum is a pretty expensive one. It's not usually one that I use for cleaning, but amazing for wound care. And if you're actually applying it to skin to help decrease the antimicrobial or to help decrease the microbial load that might be there. So that one application with multiple uses, absolutely love that about the essential oils. It can also cleanse the air and different surfaces of your home. So if you're diffusing the essential oils, it's a way to actually help to clean the air, as well as it'll get then on surfaces where different microbial might stick or microbes might stick. So on the walls or, on lampshades, different things that places that we might actually not even be wiping down or particularly sanitizing. There are many different oils and options to choose from. Basically, all of the essential oils will have some antimicrobial activity. Something like lavender does as well. It's a fantastic one for stress. I have a number of videos on lavender essential oil. You're welcome to go peruse and check out. And then really any of the oils that you're drawn to tend to be more effective for what you might need that day. So one day I might be more drawn to orange and another day lavender. And so I'll use those different ones in whatever I'm doing around the house in this way. They are a wonderful and easy things to transport, to have easy access to. We can order them. I tend to get mine shipped in, and they have sort of a minimal effort to use. I actually have a little keychain that I carry around with me that I can use them in different circumstances or actually use as a bit of a hand sanitizer. I also have a spray that has some essential oil mixture combinations in it and also alcohol in it as well, and that's what I'm using right now during this COVID-19 time. In clinical applications, it's just such a cool thing to see how all of these things can work together. And that would be, I mean, in Canada, we're not using them yet in hospital settings or clinical settings in terms of the standard of what we're sort of required to use. But it would be really interesting to see some of that shift, especially when we're seeing how the essential oils are applied and then we can use them in combination with other things to even be more effective. It kind of seems like a no-brainer to me. Again, they're fairly easy to use, so you can spray surfaces down. You want to actually let it sit if you do that. So if you're going to spray something to wipe it off, spray it again and let those essential oils sit, because that's when a lot of the antimicrobial activity happens. If you look at the sterilizing practices, we actually probably don't use things as effectively as we should. So something like alcohol that is supposed to sterilize, you actually need to let it sit for 3 minutes before it reaches that ability to sort of act as a sterilizing agent. So similar to essential oils, you actually want to let it sit on a surface if at all possible. So you want to wipe it down, you might spray it, wipe it down, and then spray it again, and just let all of those things sit. Some of the considerations we want to keep in mind is that essential oils can be very strong, very potent, especially when they're pure, and they really need to be respected. You want to be cautious with any type of internal use. A lot of the essential oils are not food grade, and there's not really a great standard in the industry that is regulated by our Canadian healthcare system. So you want to be very cautious, and if doing any type of internal use, you want to make sure to consult your healthcare practitioners. The safety in terms of pets and children, definitely there are certain oils that should never be used with different types of pets. So birds have different digestive systems, they can't tolerate certain oils. Cats and dogs may have preferences, but there also may be some essential oils that are not good for them. I think I have a little page out there somewhere on my Facebook or YouTube talking about some pet care as well, but there is a vet in Dartmouth who actually uses essential oils with their pets, so you guys should look her up. As well as in children. You want to make sure to always use them diluted, especially applying anything topically for kids. You can diffuse things, but you always want to leave a door open. And there's dilution charts as well for what concentrations are a little bit more gentle for different skin ages as our children grow up. So you want to make sure to be very cautious with that. Now, scent-free environments are interesting because essential oils, when they're pure and have no additives in them, should be more of a natural smell. Basically like cracking open an orange where you have those oils floating around. Those smells are the oils, and that's where we're getting the essential oil from. So if you can use it to cook, like thyme and sage, and you can use it and you're allowed eating it in a place like an orange, really a pure essential oil should cause no greater effect than those, other than that they are quite concentrated. Now, if an oil isn't pure and there are additives in it, that would be then a scent. So there's sort of these extra components they add in that act as a perfume that cause a weight to make that smell stick around longer. And those are the things that we don't want to use in types of scent-free environments, and that as well they tend to be more chemically derived. So not all essential oils are created equal, as I mentioned. The standard of growing practices and harvesting and processing, all of those things really should be considered. Something like having a plant grow to maturity of where the essential oil is going to be the most potent and the most therapeutic is really important. Now, if we have something like peppermint where it grows like a weed and it grows really fast, you might let it grow, this high, chop it, process, and then let it grow this high, chop it, process, and that makes more money. However, if that's not the level or the height or the duration of growth that that plant should have in order to be the most therapeutic, we want to leave it until it gets to that level of maturity so that the product that we're using is actually going to be as therapeutic as possible for us. And in the long run, you'll be getting more bang for your buck that way. We want to then, with that in mind, also keep in mind the global impact and sustainability practices of a particular company that you might be using, and then the impact that that production and use has and the carbon footprint that we produce as well. So in terms of the overall use of essential oils, I think they're fantastic. They're very strong. Treat them with respect. In terms of the pharmacokinetics and the pharmacodynamics, so this is how they interact with our body and how our body interacts with them, potential toxicity, especially through oral administration, and then other types of medical interactions if you are taking them internally as well. All of that needs a lot more research and a lot more information in order for us to really make bolder statements about how they can be used and then their effects as well. So there are some tips and tricks for today. Let me know if you guys have any questions, and stay safe and healthy. Stay safe. Oh goodness. Stay safe and healthy.